Ja, nu kunnen we. Okay, now it will work. Okay, we go to the second contribution, which is by Lorenzo Rietveld. I'll read it out in 2 languages. Hoe kunnen kunstopleidingen rekening houden met de mentale gezondheid van opkomende kunstenaars? How can art education take into account the mental health of emerging artists? Thank you, Lorenzo. Okay. We wait for Mia. Let's see. Mike has arrived. Okay, Jolien. Nu Mia nog. Mia, where is she? Ah, there you are, Mia. Okay. Hey, Mia. Now you're next. Let's see. Voila. And now everyone can share freely. You can put your sound on and unmute.
Hi. Sorry. Well, I wrote down some questions upon this topic. Okay, some question marks to you who have graduated from art college, or maybe not, it's fine still, and who is now in the real life creative field. Do you think we need an art school to learn art? Why did you go to art school? What was your expectation? Do you think learning is essential to art? What is art? What does art mean to you? Could you find the answer in school? Do you remember where you did find the answer? What motivated you the most when you were in the school? Try to come up with few keywords relative to your art school days. Did you read a lot? Did you write a lot? What did you create? Who is your most memorable person in the school? What was the most meaningful feedback? What was the most helpful feedback? If you can go back to the past in the moment of choices, would you like to go to an art school, or what would you choose to experience? What are you learning these days? From where, from whom? That's all, thank you.
Thank you, Mia Bak. We go now next to Glenn Cox. Glenn, do you want to explain or give some extra feedback on the video I will be showing?
No.
Good. Then I go to my desktop, share. Then,
okay, so now that's what we talked about. So I'm a stream of art players. Options here to house this assignment here. So
Thank you, Glenn Cox. We go now next to Andrea.
Hello. So I'm still thinking about these questions for the art schools, and or how to elaborate these questions, because I feel that I'm coming to a question that is maybe even too simple or too fundamental, which is the fact that before we ask a question to the school, we need to understand what art is and what it is. What is it for? What is art for? I had the fortune during my life to be a little bit of a nomad, and many times I traveled to another place to work and do art projects with people. I found my beliefs and my convictions challenged and broken up by different cultural approaches. We live in a globalized world, and we maybe are even critical about the homologation that the globalization is bringing to the individual differences. But at the same time, we often are behaving like colonizers, and we expect that everyone should imagine art the way we imagine it. But sometimes that's not the case. So what is art? Because the schools, most of the schools in the West, I would say that they're not teaching art, but they are teaching to be art professionals. And that's a big difference, right? So whether we want to admit it or not, as teachers or as schools, we try to teach the students how to fit in some even small way to what is this market of art in all its different aspects, because we want them to be successful. So what does it mean? That means that others need to accept them. And so that means in the West that in some way they have to be able to sell themselves or sell their artistic work. And maybe this is not just something that is you know, the contemporary society, because if we think about Renaissance, you know, which is a period in which art was considered to be very important, at least historically for us it is, but artists learned from others in their workshops, and that was considered a job. I mean, they were doing it as a job, and they were getting commissions to create artworks. Those that did not fit in that system, we don't know about. And most of the time, they maybe not even consider art, because, or at least not at the same level. So, but art is something that is in us in a very deep way in us as humans. And so that impulse and that artistic need doesn't need to be taught. It is there, and it is part of our process and our way of expressing ourselves. So, and in other cases, for example, I met, I was in places where I realized that for traditional cultures, the art has a value still of sort of a ritual, as a value of connecting the people not only to their roots, but to nature. They practice art in order to find their connection to the environment around and to reciprocate what they get from the environment around them. So it is very, very specific, and it is very meaningful. In our societies, that in the West society, that's kind of lost. And so I think that the answer that we all have, and the schools have tried to answer, is that of fitting, even when we encourage students to be different, to be original, to think in their own way, but still we want them to fit. So my big question is that, you know, what is the art, and does it need to be a school? What we're teaching, is what we're teaching art, or we're teaching business?
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you. Okay, Mike, Moonen, are you ready for your intervention or question? In any language, sorry, this was also an assumption we had to speak in English, but any language, elke taal is mogelijk. Dus Mike, als je Nederlands wilt spreken, is het ook zeer welkom. Wacht, uw geluid moet wel nog aan. Luidens, nee, nog niet. Dat moet heel hard, nee. Is dat? Staat er een koptelefoon ingeplukt? Ik hoor het. Ja, ik hoor een...
Nu wel?
Ja, ja, ja.
All right. So, hello, my name is Mike Moonen, and I just, I don't really know where I am. Yeah, I know where I am, but I just got a really spontaneous invitation for this. So I just joined in, and questions to art school. That was the thing, right?
Yes.
I kind of noticed. And for me, I graduated in 2014 in Maastricht, and thinking about it now and talking to people about it made me realize, no, yeah, I had a very good experience with my teachers and what they tried to teach us. And I also noticed I learned a lot from my fellow students. And I know, because I'm studying in Maastricht, we had a group that was like 50-50 men and women, and then in the end it was 50-50 mostly German and Dutch people, and it was a good mix. And that's nothing you can really steer in a way when you're going there. It's just a coincidence who's your fellow students. And I wonder if that is something there is a way. I don't think there's a way people can aim for a diverse group. And it's not only the diversity, because a lot of my student classmates were very motivated, and we had a lot of fun while being motivated. There was no concurrentie. It was just big group diving into the whole art thing, because yeah, when you start studying, you might be still pretty young. Or for me, I came from a little bit more of a, yeah, like a graffiti history in that, and then just dived into the art thing, and then also got a little bit swallowed by it. So I guess I'm trying to ask if there is a way that you can still, when you're diving into it that deep, there's also a way for, while you're studying, to take some distance from that. Because I noticed that after I graduated, I did that a lot, and the learning just continued. But it was, yeah, I wasn't doing like in art school. You're in the studio and everything, and you're just having classes, and it's all day, every day, that stuff. But when you're actually just on your own or with a group practicing it, you can find out. For me, I found out more about the anarchy that was supposed to be there more when I was studying. And one of the good lessons, or one of the sentences I remember, was that a teacher told me that there were many different art worlds. It's not one thing. And when everything is new, that kind of hit me. That it made me realize that there was no definition of success or career or a good path to follow. So that, combined with the anarchy that you were supposed to put into it more for me then, that formed the questions for me. Can you embed those things in a study, and how do you give that a good direction? Because it makes it all really open, and that's the beauty of it. But then there's also, yeah, when everything is possible, what will you teach someone?
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, that could be it.
Well, we continue with the spontaneous reactions, because I asked Mike only half an hour ago to be part of this. But I see Miriam Dahm. I don't know, you are a visitor or participant. If you say you have a question, perhaps.
From the University of Osnabrück, from Bettina Bruder. And this was a kind of spontaneous idea to visit by, so I don't have a lot of questions, I think. I study art at the university, so I would like to become a teacher for art. Yeah, but I don't have really any questions.
That's okay. Cool. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Ilse Jooken, who has something to explain. Where she goes?
That's me.
Something to explain on her pyjama. Yeah. Ik hoor
Fuck that alert. Oh.
Evening. I have a question that is a little bit in line with some things I saw in the previous lunch break. I saw people talking about the relationship between teachers and students, quality and equality. I totally get that. It concerns me also sometimes. So yeah, my question isn't that specific for an art school. It's more in general. Yeah. This is me. I'm SpongeBob. I'm a student or student to be. I like to learn how to catch a jellyfish. So I'm going to a school and I'm paying for these jellyfish classes. Yeah, and this one right here is my jellyfish catch teacher. So yeah, basically I am paying him to provide me the knowledge that I need. But what concerns me a little bit is that I only can get that knowledge of the teacher in these certain fixed times, the times that he is working, the times he's available, the times that he's getting paid. Actually, while the school system expect us students always to be available. We have deadlines at midnight. We always have to answer our emails. We have to work for school on the weekends because that's actually the only time we have. The weekends are the time that we have days off school, and well, those are the days that it needs to happen, that we have to work on our schoolwork. And yeah, so it feels that as students we don't have a choice and that we always have to be available, while teachers have a sort of a privilege that they can choose, or that they only have to work and be available at the hours that they are assigned. So yeah, it feels a little bit unfair to me because I'm a student and I'm the one who's paying also. So I think I should have a privilege too. But yeah, that's my question. Like, why is the system like that? Yeah, I don't know if it's clear what I was trying to say with my SpongeBob and jellyfish catch teacher. Yeah, my question is just like, why is it like that? Why is it not equal? Why do we have to be always available while teachers have their certain fixed hours? Yeah.
Ta-da.
Thank you, Ilse. We go further to, let's see, I'll share my screen. Let's see. This one we had. Okay, so I have a message from Bettina Bruder. Dear Pablo, a massive migraine hit me, so I won't make it tonight. Please invite me for the next session, if possible. But I saw a great presentation of two artists today, Arvid and Marie.com. Please pass on the link to the others if you want. I think all their works is a great way to ask questions through art and design. Thanks and sorry, Bettina Bruder. This is one. Okay. I will pass the link in the chat. Here we go. Then we continue to Jolien Pittoors. Hey, Jolien.
Hi. Yeah, well, for me, it was also like really spontaneous. I think it was also half an hour beforehand. So yeah, I was already having some questions towards art schools. So this was like, I was like, yeah, nice. I can share them with people. Yeah. Maybe it's also interesting if I tell a bit about myself so you know where my questions are coming from. So I actually am a art school dropout. Woo! I did 1 year of art school in ceramics, and now I'm studying the Middle East. Actually, I'm studying a culture. And already in my study, I was wondering why are we only studying American and European art? And actually, it's kind of the same of what Andrea asked before, because actually the question I had was, how can including different ways of experiencing art, and then I'm not talking about sounds or whatever, but more as in Andrea, he showed us the example of the Renaissance, but I have other examples as well. Like, for example, in the Arabic culture, art for a long time, it was shown in their mosques, in their mosaics, in their calligraphy, or in Africa, it was more through rituals. So it was more like ritual art. And how can this way of experiencing, or like, for example, when I was in China, art was also experienced in a different way. It was more like a craft kind of way. The border between craft and art was actually not there, while here in Europe we did make the border. And I'm wondering, how can all these different ways of experiencing art enhance your students? And with this also comes my second question. What's the importance of technique in your curriculum? For example, in China, well, that's my experience, so it might be different for other people. If you want to talk about it, feel free. But in my experience, there was way more focus on techniques in China, for example. And I was wondering, where is the border of too much technique or too little technique, and what's the effect on the student, on the training of the student? These were my questions. Like, I had 2 questions. Was it clear, Pablo, or should I repeat my question?
It was clear. Thank you.
Okay, nice.
Thank you, Jolien. Okay, now I will again share my screen. Yeah. So I had a few cancellations because of Corona, because of migraine. And the other one was, wait, let me see if I can find the right Lambeens, yeah. The other one was not a cancellation, but I'll read it out loud in Dutch first and then translate it also. Dag Pablo, het doet me plezier dat je voor dit fijne, urgente onderwerp aan meedacht. Enkel, ik heb het even gehad met een bestaan tussen muren en de quasi-eindeloze sessies achter beeldschermen. Komende week trek ik de natuur in. Zoals het er nu naar uitziet, hou ik nog mijn kleren aan. Al sluit ik het zeker niet uit dat daar gaandeweg oog in oog met de verweerde bast van een eeuwenoude dijk verandering in komt. Mag ik mezelf, wanneer toegelaten, uitnodigen voor een fysieke belevenis in de School Maison Florida? Uiteraard, Tom. Hierbij alvast enkele vragen die bij me spelen met betrekking tot onderwijs. Hoe zie je de verhouding tussen hiërarchie en gelijkheid in de omgang tussen student en docent? Translation is, how do you see the relationship between hierarchy and equality in how the student and teacher work together, let's say. The second question. Mag je bij het lesgeven überhaupt iets van een student verwachten? Can you expect something at all from a student while teaching? En de derde vraag. Wat is de verhouding tussen kunstonderwijs en de kunstwereld? What is the relationship between art education and the art world? Mocht me met betrekking tot deze problematiek nog een vraag te binnen schieten, dan laat ik het je weten. Hou je haaks, Tom Lambeens. Oké, dat was Tom Lambeens. I am doubting how to read it, or maybe I'll just say it. I also got a cancellation from Rajesh. He is living in India, and I got a message from his wife. He was doing better, but he was in intensive care and he suffered a heart attack. So his wife wrote us that he was eager, somehow he was able to say that he was eager to participate the next time, but obviously he had to cancel at this moment. And then we have one more participant who is showing up in, yes, I hope he is recovering well too. He's showing up in 5 minutes more. Let me see. Dean didn't answer, so there was another cancellation. But we will wait 5 minutes. I will search for a video because I want to share a video. Let me see if I can find a video. And then we wait 5 minutes and then the last guest arrives just in time. I will show a fragment of a video by Ane Hjort Guttu. Let's see, wait 1 second. If the password still functions. Okay, yeah. Right. Where was it? It's a fragment I'm showing, but we will see when the next guest arrives, and we will just see a fragment of it. Okay.
Og så har vi disse steinene. De helt essensielle. Med de så kan vi holde dørene åpne. Sånn.
Ja, det var jo fint.
Det jo så enkelt. Så vakkert.
På mit første år på akademiet, der blev jeg placeret nede på første etage i et hul. Fra øvre hal kan man gå ned ad en trappe til de studios, der ligger på første etage. Og mit studio lå i hullet ved trappen, så man kunne se mig fra toppen. Altså man kan se ned i mit studio, når man i øvre hal og andre etagen. Jeg har været meget opmærksom på, at der altid var nogen, der så på mig. Og jeg har ikke følt mig fri. Jeg har ikke følt, at jeg har kunne prøve ting af. Og det mærkede jeg virkelig meget, da jeg tog på en studietur med en af mine professorer på skolen til Bodø, hvor vi havde et grafikkurs. Og jeg fik bare pludselig den her følelse af rent faktisk, at der var plads til, at jeg kunne prøve ting af. Som kunststudent bruger man virkelig, virkelig meget tid på at tænke. Altså størstedelen af al min tid her på skolen. Jeg har ikke brugt tiden på at producere nødvendigvis. For mig er det virkelig vigtigt, at jeg får et eller andet rum, hvor jeg er lidt tryg.
Ja, her jo et bilde av den gamle bygningen vi var i, som den så ut. Og så noen eksempler på de studentatelierene som var der da. Det så sånn ut.
Ja. Så det jo sånn her det skal se ut på en kunstskole, at det faktisk lov å søle og bygge litt. Men hvis du lager en sånn malingsflekk, så det der i dag, så blir det jo, da blir det ramaskrik da. Det liksom ikke lov.
Her det gamle kjøkkenet vårt. Vi hadde sånn felles kjøkken, hvor vi kunne lage mat. I tillegg var det kjøkkenkroker i alle etasjer, så det var veldig lett å lage noe mens man arbeidet.
Jeg kan vise deg. Det gamle inngangspartiet versus det nye. Den gamle døra var veldig grei, for jeg kunne jo bare holde åpen, og så fikk vi en ting, og det fungerte helt fint. I motsetning til den her svære greia her, med kort og sånn. Så når vi var her, så hadde vi bare nattkontrakter.
Det sånn at man kan være inne om natta.
Ja, og da hadde vi også bare helt vanlig nøkkel. Vanlig dør, vanlig nøkkel, alt funket greit.
Vi kom jo fra en gammel bygård på 8 etasjer, og så ble vi lovet dette nye bygget og gledet oss masse til det. Tenkte at vi skulle få være med å lage den perfekte kunstskolen, men sånn ble det jo ikke.
Nei, altså, først så fikk vi jo ikke studio engang. Da skulle det være sånn åpent kontorlandskap, og vi fikk en pult å jobbe med. Så da måtte vi slåss ganske hardt for å få til en sånn labyrint av lettvegger, sånn at vi i alle fall fikk en slags liten space å jobbe på da.
Så her alle vinduer boltet igjen, og man må ha nøkkelkort for å komme seg ut og inn av dørene, sånn at hvis du har glemt det, så er du fucked. Og dessuten så kan du jo via de kortene overvåke hvor vi beveger oss til enhver tid. Tror du det gjør det? Ja, det skulle ikke forundre meg.
Det holder jo at vi vet at det der kan gjøre det.
Vi vil først bare prate litt sammen.
Now, okay.
Hasta ahora.
We have to say something, or we have to...
Vi skal snakke litt sammen.
Okay.
Så de får liksom
Okay.
lyden eller følelsen av...
Yes, I understand what you are saying. Yeah.
For eksempel, da når vi kom til dette bygget, så ville gårdeier at vi skulle ha en kafé og ikke et felleskjøkken. Det ble til og med forbudt å lage mat inne i skolen på grunn av brannforskrifter. Og det er jo da et eksempel på hvordan HMS brukes som styringsverktøy, ikke sant? Men i og med denne kaféen da, så blir jo vi også gjort til kunder, og ikke til handlende subjekter. Og det er jo på en måte helt uakseptabelt.
Yes, and food is central in all social interrelations, and it's crucial for the school's environment to have a kitchen where we can meet together, make a cheap meal.
Her er også mobilkjøkkenet vårt, hvor vi har stekeplater, et velfungerende kjøleskap, en kran som funker, fordi vi har et slangesystem som vi har satt opp her nede. Og her har vi arbeidsbenken. Avfallssystem og alt vi trenger i et kjøkken egentlig. Hyller, kunst av de som har laget boksen. Vi har jo konstruert alt som på en båt, sånn at ting ikke skal falle når vi flytter det. Så det er jo veldig praktisk. Sånn som tallerkenhyllene her, dette sitter fast. Og når man pakker det sammen, så ser det jo bare ut som en gallerivegg. Så man kan ikke finne det i lokalene.
Det er jo ikke mulig å åpne vinduene egentlig på skolen, fordi det skal være en kontrollert atmosfærisk ventilasjon. Men det har vi løst. Vi har laget vindusnøkler til alle, men vi har også måttet forkle dem da, som minnepinner eller andre type gjenstander, for at driftsavdelingen ikke skal oppdage at vi har de da.
Hva er driftsavdelingen?
The Department of Operations. The institution is divided into units and they sell service to each other. Operation, maintenance, accounting, IT.
Jeg studiekoordinator her, og har ansvaret for å koordinere studieprogrammene, organisere aktiviteter, lage kursoversikt og lignende. Så når vi lager kursoversikten, så setter vi opp en del kurs her, på den digitale plattformen. Og så har vi vår egen kursoversikt som henger bak meg på veggen her. Det det hemmelige bookingsystemet vårt. Vi har laget det med, du ser noen rubrikker og sånn der, hvor studenter kan skrive seg på. Og så har vi tegnet litt og lagt litt border sånn, så det skal se litt mer ut som kunst. Og det er for å kamuflere at vi har vårt eget system.
Ok, så det her, det er ekte kurs, og de på den digitale plattformen, de er ikke reelle.
Nei, de finnes ikke. Men alle oppe i systemet tror at det er ekte. Vi ser, når vi har disse analoge listene eller planene i en skuff, så må studentene komme hit til oss, og da får vi en helt annen kontakt, som er utrolig verdifull. Vi får en mye bedre forståelse for hva som kan funke for de, og jeg forsøker alltid å ta studentperspektivet.
I skolereglementet så er det sånn at du må ha en master for å være lærer og kunne holde kurs da. Men altså, vi kan jo se på den, hvis jeg kan vise den kursoversikten litt, så jeg bare kan komme med et eller annet eksempel. Så, ja. Her har vi et kurs som heter Renegotiating the Spaceline Matrix. Og de titlene der, de blir lagd av studiekoordinator som bruker en sånn Artspeak-generator på nett. Og det kurset der, det handler egentlig, eller kunne egentlig hete ekkel blanding da. For det rett og slett handler om blandinger som er ekle. Og det kurset ble jo holdt av 3 studenter. Og selv om det høres litt sånn ufaglig ut, så var det kurset der veldig avansert. Og tekstene som vi las var superkomplekse, og så var det til og med noen av blandingene som var bra da.
Hvordan bra?
Betydningsfulle.
Vi er pålagt å ta kursevalueringer, men vi får standardiserte skjemaer med spørsmål som er de samme for hele universitetssektoren. Og tilbakemeldingen fra studentene er at de ikke er relevante. Så det vi tar og fyller inn de skjemaene her på kontoret. I stedet så, etter hver kurs, så setter lærerne seg ned og snakker med studentene og hører hva de synes.
Jeg den offisielle dekanen på papiret. En skinndekan, for vi har en annen rektor som vi har valgt. Så det betyr at jeg går i noen møter, jeg sender ganske mange rapporter, men at det en annen person som har den fulle oversikten.
Ja, det som skjedde på siste allmøte var at jeg ble valgt til rektor. Det vet bare de her på skolen. Offisielt jeg renholder. har det overordnede ansvaret. Jeg jobber bare 30% som renholder. Jeg brenner for dette.
Og dere vil ikke ha en faglig tyngde som rektor?
Det har vi diskutert grundig, og vi har kommet til at det viktigste er at alle har mulighet til å stille, for rektorstillingen er ikke en stilling som tar så mange faglige beslutninger. Det er det kollegiet og allmøtet som gjør. Det som trengs er en person som holder oversikten.
Så dere vil egentlig bare ha det sånn som det var før?
Nei. Det vil vi absolutt ikke. Det er jo akkurat det greiene der er vi veldig bevisste på, tenker jeg. At vi har ikke lyst til å romantisere den der gamle europeiske kunstskolen.
Okay.
Vi vil bygge noe helt nytt, noe som er for alle. Det gamle kunstakademiet var elitistisk og hierarkisk, og ikke minst kolonialistisk.
Men lokalene og systemene fungerte mye bedre. Det var en ekte kunstskole. Shabanes og lavaratri.
Iwan Joi, Oriti, Miru, Murimenton, Fin.
Dette er vel også en ekte kunstskole?
Ok. Ja, men den er bygget sånn at den kan transformeres til et konsulentfirma når som helst.
Den er jo ikke så
Je sais, oui, je sais ça. Je sais toi, je sais.
Toi, je sais. Toi, je sais, og du c'est gêné.
Ja, her er det sånn fullkurs for alle.
Ja, hvem alle?
Nei, alle i hele verden, egentlig. Det er jo egentlig ikke lov å holde skolen åpen for alle på den måten her, men så er det ingen som har oppdaget det.
Eller skulle egentlig være en pute.
Vil du se på?
Ja, eller hun er egentlig kunstner, så hun maler liksom. Og det er veldig mange som har farger, eller blant annet det her. Så har vi men jeg brukte ikke jeg bare vært
we pause this beautiful film. There's, I think, 7 minutes more. I will screen it after because our final participant has arrived, Darin Vartanian, live from his back garden somewhere in Los Angeles. You can have to put on your sound, Darin.
Hi.
Welcome to the lunch break.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, I was watching the other one, and Pablo, you invited me, so very, very nice to see everyone. Is it loud? Can you hear anything or?
Very, very loud and clear.
Oh, do you hear like the street at all?
No, I don't hear.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So,
yeah, so I'm available for any questions.
Well, we have been gathering questions from everyone in one way or the other, and as I explained a little bit, the lunch break is about asking questions. Do you have a question to ask your or the art school in general or specific?
Oh yes. I guess we, the big question is we've all went through a crazy quarantine last year, and I'm in the United States, Los Angeles, and if you know, like, we've been locked down, and our politics have been crazy, and there's been a lot of tension. And just as an artist, it's been hard. I just got done with a really nice meeting with some other artists, and I haven't had a chance to be around other artists or actually, stay creative in a way that I used to. So I've had to do everything all by myself. And I guess the question is, how have you guys kept inspired and kept the drive through like such, difficult times, and finding work and doing everything remotely and finding the strength for yourself as an artist, to keep going and keep pushing and keep being inspired without the actual human interaction.
Maybe as a closure, let's say, of this lunch break, we will give an answer. Ilse, who you know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think Corona was a big disadvantage, but I think it gave many artists new perspective about things, about life, about the world, about social media. So I think in that way it was super interesting, and I think we all learned about that from it, and yeah, I got new inspiration from it, actually. So with the situation we are in, yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Mike,
I don't know.
do you have an answer?
Here I am. I only now start to notice. We have been in a lockdown also for a year, and only now things kind of seem to really flatten out a bit. I'm not the one who has trouble staying active or doing stuff, but I do notice that I don't want to blow it up or whatever, but I do notice that stuff feels a little bit more forced sometimes in studio and whatever, because you because of the situation you get out of the other part that makes the flow, the interaction and sharing stuff actually too. So I can put out mixtapes or magazines and whatever. I just can keep. It's not a problem to do stuff, but the diversity and the urgency really is different. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a pretty optimistic person. I would say that I'm an optimistic person, but like what the thing that Ilse said is true too, because yeah, I really use it as a time to contemplate and look at like the speed and stuff that I have been doing all the time. Just try to look at what it can offer instead of what it blocks out. Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Andrea, do you have an answer?
Yes.
Well, maybe one thing that I can say is that I was already working digitally before coronavirus started, because I live in different type of community, and so my connections and interaction is in different places, and so I was already online, and the coronavirus just made everyone isolated, so it created more interactions online. So in that sense, there is not a lack of things to do or not a lack of inspiration. My main concern is that I have two daughters, young daughters, and so I see them now. We cannot move around without masks, and so I'm very sad if that will be their future. And I think also when we, as artists and as teacher or as students, we do our things, we kind of in our work imagine what the future will be, and through that imagining we define it. So there is a responsibility, and that's something that I started thinking about now, because I'm doing a lot of things online, but do I want that future to be the future, and how I can impact the future through the things that I do? So that actually I have lots of questions more than answers.
Thank you, Andrea. Jolien, still awake. Do you have an answer?
This is horrible to say, but while you were talking, I got distracted by my husband, so I don't know what the question. So go on to the next one.
Miriam, do you have an answer?
Yeah, I think it was quite interesting to adapt to new situations and be creative with it. So for example, I like to paint, and the studios at my university are closed now, so I had to overthink my painting and do it really a little bit smaller so I can paint on my own desk at home. So it was new creative, but in the end it turned out really good. So yeah.
Thank you. Let's see, Jolien, do you have an answer?
Yes, I do. So art is not the main thing in my life anymore because my study is taking up a lot of time. And the first lockdown, I completely stopped, I think, because I was still doing it. I was, but yeah, I was still doing ceramics, but the studio was closed. And then I was focusing on my studies, but I was also feeling the need to create again. So as soon as the studios were open, I was there. But also I started working together with some friends, collaborating to make stuff together. And that was really interesting because we are forced to think within a way more narrow frame than normal. And this frame is also changing all the time. It might get more narrow, it might not. It's really interesting. so for me, the lockdown it was just challenge to think in a different way, kind of, for me. Yeah, it's my.
Thank you, Jolien. For myself, I think I've been lucky because I've been bicycling a lot in between my house where I did online teach or guide students, but also bicycling to the beautiful house we call Mesa, Florida, from the school, and where we grew this tiny community into a larger community day by day from the start of the lockdown. And we kept the doors closed, and that community only got bigger and bigger. And we were able to manifest a different set of rules or a different view on society, and to have a perspective on things and change that perspective while we were, I don't know, proceeding. So at sometimes I felt exhausted when the unbalance was there, when I was teaching or being online way too much. But I would balance it with bicycling to my atelier or to the community or the kitchen, or I don't know, see things happening there unexpectedly. So I was lucky. And maybe the last answer, because I know he is always on point. Glenn, do you have an answer?
Yeah, I think this time for me was kind of a break, because it was going very fast before Corona, and I just took the advantage of just standing still, but also exploring new things. And the thing that Pablo was talking about, the community, was also a big part of my time then, when I just spent around people and just explored different new ways. I think it was kind of an advantage of Corona for me, because I was going so fast. I was kind of losing sight, and now getting this break and just standing still and watching around, but not doing nothing, but just focusing more on what am I doing and where am I going at, was kind of a big advantage for me, just to take now my time and see where the future is headed without going too fast blindedly.
Thank you, Glenn. Darin, how are the answers?
I mean, they're exactly, I feel myself and everything that every person said individually, because for me, like I before Corona, I worked from home. I worked from an office digitally, remotely anyways. So like once Corona hit, everyone had to go inside and everyone had to work remotely. So my business like profited, like boomed, like suddenly everyone needed remote directors, remote animators, blah, blah, blah. And at first it was therapeutic for me. I could sort of slow down and not really like have 5 or 6 things going on at the same time. I could just focus on art, almost as if like on my business, basically. But then it made sort of like a switch when America was just started getting on fire, and I started getting depressed because all I did was wake up, work from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., go to sleep, wake up again, work. You know, I would try to go to the beach and I'd try to do all these things, but my life for 6 months was an endless from one job to the next. And I'm watching people go to protests. I'm watching buildings get broken into, like down the street from me. And I'm starting to think about my own mortality, and like starting to think about COVID, and starting to think about, I'm half Black, half Armenian. And they just had an Armenian war in Artsakh. I'll have my Armenian side going through war, I have my Black side going through turmoil in the United States. And I'm really starting to lose motivation of waking up every single day and working on projects for other people, business projects, you know, like music videos for Young Thug or like, you know, like these rappers that like deep down, I'm 32 and I'm starting to think about my art and my career and like, and actually making art that I care about. So after just working like so much, I lost all motivation. And, you know, I created a style and a type of business to where I can work on an entire music video by myself on my laptop. So I don't need to hire anyone else. But I was working, like I said, 6-8 months straight, all by myself from morning to sundown. You know what I mean? In a way, it helped me like not party. It helped me like, you know, sort of clean up and focus on myself and think about myself. But after like an entire year of it, and thank God we got like a new president that really fucking relieved my, you know, my insecurity about like what the future was going to be. Because like the other artist said, artists like to create and get inspired by the future that they see. So the future, I couldn't even imagine a good future for a moment there. I was like, kind of like, oh shit, you know, there's no place for me in this world that I'm safe. You know what I'm saying? Like America's fucked. I'm gonna have to go to Europe. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like getting kind of down the dumps. But now I'm fine. I just got vaccinated and I'm just sort of meeting up with artists that I've you know worked with in the past. And I created so many like personal projects over quarantine. Like I do comic books and I have a TV show that I developed and have all these things ready to go. And I'm meeting up with friends and talking to them about it and like just meeting with them, seeing their fashion, you know, like seeing like how they're dressed and, you know, and just laughing with the friends that I used to have. It's just really giving me that like now that we're about to open up and right now that we're at the tail end of it, I feel inspired again. You know what I mean? And I feel like I did a lot of really good things over quarantine and I didn't waste the opportunity and I didn't take it for granted. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Darin. Thank you, Ilse. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Jolien. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Miriam. And all the people that weren't here but sent in something. This was the lunch break, the second edition. The next one, the third edition, is at midday in Belgium on the 1st of May. And we will do something else, probably then. I will continue this Zoom because I will watch the rest of the video that we were watching. Those that go away, I'll see you soon in real life. And the others, I will send the link for the video to watch it in a better way than through streaming. So see you soon. Ciao.
Thank you, Pablo. Bye.
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 Jeg hadde et kurs hvor jeg hadde med en platespiller. Så spiller jeg Köln-konserten til Keith Jarrett for studentene, og i det opptaket kan vi høre liksom skraping med stolen til Keith Jarrett. Vi kan høre lyder fra publikum, latter, kremting, hosting. En student ble veldig fascinert av det og fikk kontakt med liksom det rommet, stedet, tiden i den konserten da. Der liksom, akkurat der i Køln i 1975, 1:15 om natten, den 24. januar. Og i denne lille feilen, der ligger det åndelige.
Og du tror ikke at dere blir oppdaget da? Nei. Jeg tror ikke de kommer for å lete etter oss her. På overflaten ser alt riktig ut, og vi etterlater veldig få spor, unntatt i studentene sin da. Securitas går rundt her når skolen stenger klokka 8, så en og annen klarer å gjemme seg, men det er jo vanskelig å gjemme hele kunstakademiet. Eller husker du når vi gjemte 20 stykker inn i bøttegott? Det var i forbindelse med et kurs vi hadde, for vi måtte jobbe om natta. Men det blir jo veldig styrete, og dessuten så kan de jo overvåke oss med kamera.
Ja, men dere ville egentlig vært her hele døgnet?
Ja, hvorfor ikke egentlig? Jeg vet om flere som kunne tenke seg å være her hele sommeren eller på julaften. Det er litt viktig å ikke tilpasse seg det firkantet systemet der ute hvor alle har fri pinsen, liksom.
Ja, dere elsker faktisk å være her.
Vi kunne jo sett litt bedre ut, men vi liker oss her uansett. Mye ålreite folk.
Vil ha mindre vite? Jeg synes det virker som dere helst ville vært en egen institusjon, og jeg lurer på hvorfor ikke dere bare lager noe eget utenfor.
Ja, men det finnes ikke noe utenfor. For å drive utdanning i Norge på høyeste nivå i dag, så må man forholde seg til NOKUT og til departementet. Dessuten så kjenner vi at det er riktig for oss å være skjult inni hjertet av systemet. Det eneste autentiske forholdet man kan ha til akademia i dag, det er et kriminelt forhold.
Livssalige fred. Den tystnad